The hail wasn't supposed to start for another hour. At least, that's what the weather app had claimed, yet there it was, pounding the streets like the sky itself had shattered. Daniel Mercer tightened his grip on the steering wheel, watching ice fragments ricochet off the hood of his car as he crept forward. He had left the office early for one reason: to pick up his son from daycare on time. In the 2 years since his wife's death, he had never once been late. Not once. Being punctual for Liam was a promise he guarded like a lifeline. He turned onto Maple Ridge Road, squinting through the white blur of hail. That's when he saw it, something small at the edge of the street. At first he thought it was debris. But then it moved. The tiny figure scrambled backward, arms over her head, a pink backpack shielding her as ice stones rained down. Daniel slammed the brakes and jolted forward. His heart froze. A child. Alone. Outside. He threw open his door and sprinted without thinking, hail battering his shoulders and neck like thrown rocks. The little girl didn't even look up, trembling beneath the hopeless shield of her arms. Daniel dropped to his knees and wrapped his coat around her. Hey, I've got you," he said, voice breathless. "You're safe. Come on, let's get inside." The child clung to him without hesitation. He lifted her into his arms and dashed back to the car. Once the door shut, the world quieted to a muffled roar, and he could finally see her clearly. Dark curls soaked through with ice water, big brown eyes shining with tears, and cheeks scratched raw from the storm. She couldn't have been older than 7. "You're okay now," he said softly. She stared at him for a long, trembling moment. Then, as if recognizing something, she whispered, "My mom used to tell me about you." Daniel blinked. "About me?" The girl nodded, hugging her pink backpack. "She said if I was ever scared, or lost, someone good would find me. Someone who helps people. Someone brave. She described you." Daniel felt something inside him shift, like a door opening to a memory he didn't know he still carried. The girl watched him with hopeful eyes that didn't match the shivering in her body. "What's your name?" he asked. "Emma. And your mom, where is she, Emma?" Her lips quivered. She looked down at her knees. "She went away. A few days ago. And she didn't come back." Daniel's chest tightened. This wasn't simply a lost child situation. Something much worse lingered beneath her trembling voice. He pulled his phone from his pocket. "I'm going to get you safe first, and then we'll figure this out. I promise." As he drove toward Liam's daycare, Emma remained silent except for the occasional sniffle. Daniel kept glancing at her, haunted by her earlier words, "My mom used to tell me about you." Was it possible her mother knew him? He had met countless people as CEO of Mercer Innovations, a tech firm that funded community programs and provided resources for struggling families. His late wife, Ava, had always encouraged him to use his privilege to help others. Maybe Emma's mother had been someone helped by one of those programs. Yet the eerily specific description still tugged at him, unsettling and familiar. When they reached the daycare, Daniel hurried inside with both children, Liam running to him happily, oblivious to the storm, Emma gripping his coat like an anchor. "Daddy, who's that?" Liam asked as they approached the car. "A friend who needs our help," Daniel said simply. Back home, he dried both kids off, made hot chocolate, and settled them on the couch with blankets. Emma sat stiffly, hands folded around the warm mug but not drinking. "You're safe here," Daniel said gently, sitting across from her. "Can you tell me what happened?" She squeezed her eyes shut. "Mom said we had to leave. She said someone bad wanted to hurt her. We moved a lot. I didn't go to school. She worked at night and told me to stay inside. But then she got sick. Really sick. Last week she went out and didn't come back. I waited and waited. Then the landlord said he was going to throw everything away, so I left. I was trying to walk to the police but the storm started." Daniel felt a vine of anger twist inside him, not at Emma, but at the world that let children fall through its cracks. Her story was raw, too adult for her small voice. "Emma," he said carefully, "do you know your mother's name?" She nodded. "Sophia Turner." Daniel's breath caught. He remembered that name. 5 years earlier, his company had sponsored medical treatment for a young single mother named Sophia Turner, diagnosed with an autoimmune disease but too afraid to seek help because she was hiding from her abusive ex-partner. Ava had personally met with her, even held baby Emma while Sophia cried in gratitude. Daniel had seen them once, Sophia frail but determined, Ava radiant with compassion. My wife knew your mother, he said, voice thick. Emma's eyes widened. Your wife, the lady who saved my mom. Daniel nodded. Emma lowered her head. Mom told me your wife was an angel. And she said you were her hero. The words hit Daniel harder than the hail had. For the first time in years, he felt Ava's presence in the quiet room, gentle, guiding, urging him forward. He called social services, but the line put him on hold. Emergency shelters were overwhelmed due to the storm. Emma sat quietly, watching him anxiously, as if waiting for him to disappear too. He couldn't let that happen. You'll stay here tonight, Daniel said firmly. You're safe. Nothing will happen to you. As the night settled, he talked with Liam in the hallway. Daddy, is Emma staying forever? Liam asked innocently. I don't know yet, buddy. But she needs us right now. Liam nodded and hugged him, simple, unquestioning trust that made Daniel's throat burn. After tucking them both in, Daniel sat alone in the living room. He should have been working on the investor report or checking his overflowing inbox. Instead he stared at the soft glow of the nightlight spilling beneath the children's door. Something deeper than responsibility stirred in him, something like destiny. But challenges rose quickly in the following days. First, the authorities located Sophia's file. She had passed away 3 days earlier in a hospital 2 towns over, alone. No emergency contact. No relatives. Only a note asking that her daughter be placed somewhere safe. Second, the man she'd been running from, her ex-partner, learned that Emma had been found. He demanded custody, claiming to be her biological father. But his history was stacked with violence, substance abuse, and restraining orders. And the system didn't move fast enough. It never did. Daniel hired lawyers. He fought for temporary guardianship, using every resource available, but the courts hesitated. He was a single father. A busy CEO. No blood relation to Emma. It didn't matter that she cried when they tried to take her for questioning, or that she clung to him and begged not to go. The process was slow, cold, procedural. Then the media got involved. Reporters swarmed outside his office building. CEO takes in mystery girl, public sympathy stunt or genuine compassion. His board of directors grew uneasy. Investors questioned whether his sudden guardianship battle would distract him from his responsibilities. Some even suggested stepping back as CEO temporarily. For the first time, Daniel felt overwhelmed. He was fighting on too many fronts: corporate politics, legal battles, and the emotional weight of 2 children depending entirely on him. One evening, after a brutal day in court, he returned home exhausted. Emma sat on the couch hugging her pink backpack. She looked up at him with hope that cracked something inside him. Are they going to take me away? She whispered. Daniel knelt beside her. Not if I can help it. She took a shaky breath. I know I'm hard to take care of. No, he said firmly. You're not. None of this is your fault, Emma. She hesitated. Mom said you helped people even when it was hard. She said you never stopped trying. Her voice broke. Please don't stop trying for me. He wrapped his arms around her. He didn't cry often, not since Ava's death, but he did then. Quietly, gratefully. Because in that moment he realized something simple and unshakable. Emma wasn't just someone he was helping. She was someone he cared for. Someone who belonged here. The next day, he made a decision that stunned the board and the media alike. He stepped onto the stage of Mercer Innovations' annual conference, facing thousands of employees and livestream viewers. Cameras flashed. Whispering filled the room. He cleared his throat. Today, I want to talk about responsibility, he began. Not the corporate kind, the human kind. He spoke openly about finding Emma in the hailstorm. About Sophia. About Ava's compassion. About what it meant to be a father, not just to the child you were given, but to the child who needed you. He ended with a bold declaration. I will not step down. I will not back out. I will not let a little girl be dragged back into danger because the system is slow or because powerful people think compassion makes a leader weak. If that costs me my position, so be it. But I will fight for her with everything I have. For a moment, silence hung heavy. Then someone stood. Applause grew, spread, thundered. Support poured in nationwide. Offers from child advocates, pro bono lawyers, psychologists, former foster youth, community leaders. The media narrative shifted. Daniel wasn't a CEO in crisis, he had become a symbol of unwavering humanity. The court battle didn't end quickly, but with mounting public support and new testimonies about Emma's safety concerns, the judge granted Daniel full guardianship. When the ruling came, Emma ran into his arms, sobbing with relief. "You're not going anywhere," he whispered into her hair. "You're home." The challenges didn't disappear. Parenting 2 children while running a corporation was chaotic, messy, exhausting. But laughter returned to the house. Warmth. Hope. Emma started school, made friends, and slowly learned to trust that she would not be abandoned. And at night, when Daniel tucked both children into bed, he felt Ava's presence again, not as a ghost, but as the echo of a promise they once made together, to help where help was needed. To love without hesitation. Emma grew up hearing the story of the Hailstorm rescue not as a tale of tragedy, but as the day she found family. A day when a stranger became her father. A day when love proved stronger than fear. In Daniel, he learned that sometimes life doesn't give second chances, sometimes it gives unexpected beginnings disguised as broken moments. In the end, his story wasn't about being a CEO, or even a single dad. It was about the courage to step into a storm, and the strength to bring someone out of it.